If a movie doesn't touch you, even if it's not necessarily in a positive way, if it touches you, I feel like that's what I look for in a good film. Like,
yeah, we can't wait for these movies to come out, and it's the ones that we didn't expect that is blowing everyone up.
I mean, if we look at their careers, Robert Pattinson right now is having a similar career to Leonardo DiCaprio. Think about it.
Oof, oof, oof.
Look,
baby.
Let's go! Welcome to the very first episode of the Let's Go Show, a brand new podcast and show where basically I just get to talk about literally anything and everything in the world of film and entertainment and life. And this is a very open podcast, open conversation. And man, I'm excited to get back into like the podcasting world, man. The last podcast I had was Soup's Disputes. A lot of you guys were massive fans of that. But now this is something else that's completely different. And I'm excited, man. Today I got my boy Sebby Clemens, who was my very first interview like ever on YouTube. When I started my YouTube channel, I was reaching out to a ton of different creators in the entertainment space to try to collaborate and just like, you know, meet people in this game. And I sent out hundreds and hundreds of emails to try to collaborate with different creators. And Sebby was my first yes. So now it only felt right to bring Sebby back for episode 1 of the Let's Go Show. And then we also got my boy, Editor Geo. You guys know this man. This is the man that, this is the magic maker. He's the one that takes all of my videos and edits them on YouTube, on some of it on TikTok. And dude, so many, these two guys right here are just so freaking talented. So Sebby, Geo, welcome to the show. Sebby, how do you feel, bro? What's up?
This is, it's a full circle moment is what it is. You know, very first guest podcast, you know, collaboration for the Soup's history. And so finally be here on the new podcast, which is on a whole other level that I'm sure you never saw coming, is just, it's surreal. And it's awesome. I'm grateful to be here. So thank you.
Also, guys, for the people listening and tuning in, Sebby is the person that made the logo and the intro for this podcast. Again, like I said, every single person on this planet has a gift they bring to the table. Sebby is such a master at graphic design, at art, at so many different things. We'll talk more about that later on in the show. But I want to start off with our main topic here today. We're going to be starting off with our first main topic, which is like, why did we start this podcast? What are our goals? What can you expect from this podcast? And honestly, I'm going to tell you guys right here, right now, the reason I started this podcast is because of Twitter. Twitter is the reason that I started this podcast. You know, I've had the privilege of you know, building such a great platform on Twitter. But if there's one thing I've learned is that Twitter is the most toxic social media platform out there. It is a hellhole of just so much negativity. And
it's dirty out there. It's dirty.
You know, people just take stuff so out of context that, you know, it's so crazy. Like Twitter is so sensitive. It's a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. So Twitter, honestly, and like from I guess so many people are just like going crazy over tweets of mine that are kind of just like harmless takes, but then I can see where they get taken super out of context and then people run off with their own narrative. That kind of, I guess, sparked the idea within myself to say like, damn, I should probably start like a podcast where we could actually like talk about these ideas and flesh them out more than just, you know, 180 characters, which is like the maximum amount of characters you can have on a tweet. So,
for sure.
Yeah, honestly, such a negative environment breeds something good. Shout out Twitter.
We live in a world where you could tweet something like, man, I freaking love grilled cheeses. And then some guy would message you and be like, oh, so you don't like hot dogs? You don't like bologna sandwiches? So it's like everybody, when we live in a world where everybody's got their own opinion, Matt, everybody can say what they want to say. Everybody can be hurt and offended. You know, it's a lot of people can get reached to that. A lot of people's got their voice. And Twitter's like, someone could say something that's like a hot take and it'll go to everyone, even if they have no followers.
No, yeah, for sure. It's like for rational human beings. And I still fully expect for people to clip stuff on this podcast and put it up and, you know, just take it in their own direction. But yeah, I want this to be a very immersive experience. You know, back in high school, I remember before I was ever on social media, every single time it was lunch in school, I remember me and my boys would just like huddle around the lunch table, and that would be our time to like talk about freaking theories, about movies, about sports, about everything. And I want to recreate that conversation, that environment with something like this. And that's honestly what I'm feeling right now. I mean, I feel so good right now. I feel so good. With that being said, man, let's get into the next topic as we end the year. Now we're at the end of the year. All of the biggest releases have pretty much come out besides Avatar. I know that the Whitney Houston biopic, I Want to Dance with Somebody, is coming out later this month. Glass Onion is hitting Netflix at the end of the month. Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish is hitting theaters at the end of the month. And this weekend, The Whale just hit theaters, starring Brendan Fraser, a film by Darren Aronofsky. But look, my top 5 films of 2022. Starting off with an honorable mention, I'm going to say Glass Onion. Glass Onion is the sequel to Knives Out, directed and written by Rian Johnson. And I'm such a sucker for murder mysteries. I love murder mysteries so much. I love films that can just keep you guessing. And that's exactly what this film does. With such a fun cast, you have Daniel Craig, Kate Hudson, oh my gosh, Catherine Hahn, Dave Bautista.
Better get those names right. They're gonna come after you for that.
No, yeah, I know. Right. Hold up, I'm not, dude. Now that I'm on the spot, I
type it up.
Jessica Henwick, Madeline Klein, Edward Norton. I mean, Janelle Monáe was so fantastic in this movie. So yeah, I'm gonna give Glass Onion an honorable mention on my top 5. But now as we move into my top 5, at number 5, I have Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish. Dude, have you guys seen the original Puss in Boots from
DreamWorks? No, man. No, I haven't. I'm a Shrek guy. I never seen
You're a Shrek guy?
Boots, though. Big Shrek guy. Shrek 2 is deeper than Shrek. It goes beyond the Shrek universe. I take a lot of deep takes from that movie about like family approval and things like that, and people coming together. It gets deep. Shrek 2 gets deep for me, bro. I love that movie.
Dude, I love Shrek 2. Look, G, I'm going to tell you right now, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, it is the best movie in the Shrek franchise besides Shrek 2. Like, I'd put it all over all of the other Shreks besides Shrek 2. I still have Shrek 2 over Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But man, when this movie came out, IGN called it the Shrek's franchise's answer to Logan. That was their description of this movie. And honestly, I totally see it. And here's why. This is an animated movie that is geared for all audiences. It takes such mature themes and it wraps it up in like an animated fun kids movie. Like, it's still very fun. It's still, you can take your kids to see it and they will love it. But as an adult, you'll also understand like the deeper themes of this movie, which, it deals with facing death, accepting harsh truths, living life to the fullest while we still have it. The entire premise of this movie is Puss, who's a cat who has 9 lives, because cats have 9 lives, and he's on his last life. So now he's struggling to deal with his morality, and he's on a quest to make a wish, to wish for more lives. And on that journey, he learns a lot of different things. And the side characters in this film are so freaking amazing. Goldilocks is in it, and she's played by Florence Pugh. She's fantastic. So from the beautiful animation that reminded me a lot of Into the Spider-Verse, the animation in this movie truly looks like artwork brought to life. The animation was beautiful.
I don't want to cut you off, but did they change like the animation style? Like, is it different?
Yeah, it looks way better in this movie.
Okay, so it looks like you said Into the Spider-Verse. It looks like
the same way when you watch Into the Spider-Verse, it literally looks like a comic book coming to life. Like they animated it specifically to make it look that way. They took a ton of different animation techniques to make it look that way. In this movie, there's again, the animation looks like an artwork, a drawing brought to life. And it just looks so beautiful, man. I really, really love this movie. I loved it a lot more than I thought I was. I did not go into 2022 thinking Puss in Boots 2: The Last Wish was going to be on my top 5 of the year.
Those are the best movies, though. The movies that you didn't expect. The movies that you didn't want to watch. I think that's the problem today, is because we're making so much hype on these movies, and we can't wait for these movies to come out. And it's the ones that we didn't expect that is blowing everyone up. And The Whale is the best example of that.
Speaking of The Whale, I got to check that out last night. Oh my God, that movie fucked me up, bro. That movie fucked me up. It got me, man. It got me. That is not a feel-good movie. It's a hard watch. It's a hard watch, not because it's bad, but because it's going to make you feel. And holy cow, I don't think that movie would have worked if any other actor played that role besides Brendan Fraser. Like the performance he gives is ridiculous. And the entire movie takes place inside his apartment, which going into the film, I thought that was going to really mess with me because an entire movie taking place inside one setting.
So you just stay inside his apartment? You don't ever
movie.
like, okay.
Dang.
So kind of
The
like
whole
Bullet
movie.
Train.
Wow. Yeah. Even in Bullet Train, like that was, it got to a certain point with Bullet Train where even though the film is so like quickly paced and there's so much going on, and Bullet Train, I started to feel a little bit of like, yo, we're just like in a train aisles, we're not spice. I don't know.
Like
even though it's that was the whole premise of the movie of being inside a bullet train, but it kind of bothered me a little bit. And I thought that was going to bother me going into this movie where the entire film takes place inside of his apartment. But, different characters are constantly coming in and out. The film, it kind of just flows effortlessly. And
the movies that touch you, though, I feel like are the ones that like impact you the most. If a movie doesn't touch you, even if it's not necessarily in a positive way, if it touches you, I feel like that's what I look for in a good film. Like if I don't care if it's, critically acclaimed, amazing masterpiece. If it makes me emotional and it touches me in the heart where it needs to be, like I enjoy it.
To see, like, I love this. I love when actors come back. There's nothing that gets me more hot than a comeback story. When someone just like is at the bottom and they come back. And especially in real life. Like another example of that is Birdman. What's his freaking name? The lead, Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton in Birdman was essentially a movie about him. It was a movie about him being the role of Batman and how his career was like done. And then he came back and he went in did he win like 2 Oscar-winning movies back to back with Spotlight and Birdman? That's why I'm really excited to see this Brendan Fraser movie. But at the same time, I'm a little scared because it sounds to me like this movie is going to depress me and it's all I'm going to be thinking about for the next 3 days.
Yeah.
Like it's going to stay in my mind and make me feel weird. Like I'm going to feel like I'm in that world. Like I am the whale.
The last 30 minutes of this movie, dude, I was uncontrollably sobbing. Like, I don't cry like that, dude. I don't cry like that. The last time I cried like that was when I watched Everything Everywhere All at Once, which is at the top of my list, but we'll get to that. In the meantime, let's move on to number 4 on the list, which is The Batman. The Batman is at number 4 on my list.
That's surprisingly low for me. That's a little low for me. I'll be honest. That's pretty low.
A lot of people have it as, in their top 3 and their number 1. I really enjoyed The Batman. This is the Batman movie we've been waiting for, our whole lives. A detective story. To me, it was like the closest thing from like the Batman the animated series. That's what it felt like. Like Matt Reeves created this super immersive Gotham world. All of the villains, it was so cool seeing Carmine Falcone, the Penguin. Colin Farrell was so good as the Penguin.
Yes, sir.
Seeing the Riddler, Catwoman, Joker, like that was such a great way to literally just launch this brand new Batman franchise.
Yeah.
So
really
how do you guys feel about the Batman? Where does it rank amongst your favorite movies of the year?
The Batman was good enough to give Colin Farrell his own spin-off series on HBO. I think that pretty much says it all. All the freaking weight of the world that Matt Reeves had when Ben Affleck stepped down and he left, and they had to get a new Batman, not to mention living up to the hype of The Dark Knight, which is not only one of my favorite superhero movies of all time, but one of my favorite movies of all time. The Dark Knight is a masterpiece. So to make a movie that follows up that immediately is going to be number 2, like at best, you're never going to be able to live up to The Dark Knight because it's just at this point, it's like The Godfather. Like it doesn't matter what movie gets made. The Godfather just has that rep. It's like the Michael Jordan of films. And that's what kind of The Dark Knight did. So Matt Reeves had that to live up to. And the way he executed it, man, like I felt like I was playing the Arkham games, which is my favorite thing of Batman ever, the Arkham series. That's my favorite Batman ever did. Like any storytelling wise, anything Batman's ever done, the Arkham games is my favorite. And although I wish it was a little brighter because I couldn't see anything, I love the freaking movie. Loved it. And I had low expectations. I'm not gonna lie. I had really low expectations. Because like I said, it's The Dark Knight, guys. Dark Knight is freaking ridiculous.
I don't know. I think nothing lives up to The Dark Knight for sure. I agree with Gio that it's one of my not only favorite superhero movies, but one of my favorite movies, period. The Dark Knight's probably number 1 on the superhero movie list for me. It just it's just untouchable. But
Yeah.
I think going into this movie, I had actually just freshly watched the Twilight series. So I had just seen Twilight for the first time and with my girlfriend, and I loved it. I thought they were great movies, but I kind of had this stigma of like, you know, who I saw Robert Pattinson as and who he could play. And so I was a little intrigued and I was a little curious as to how he'd pull off Batman. Of course, because I love The Dark Knight, I think Christian Bale is just, you know, he's just the perfect Bruce Wayne, in my opinion. He's a pretty damn good Batman too. So I was curious to see how Robert Pattinson would pull it off. And, you know, I was pretty surprised with, you know, I had pretty low expectations, kind of like Gio said, going in, especially for Robert Pattinson as Batman. And I was blown out of the water. I was like,
Sebby, not to cut you off, bro. I had no faith. I had zero faith in Robert Pattinson. And he was literally killing it at the time.
Look, I had the complete opposite reaction because while everyone was pooping on Edward playing the new Batman, I was like, I before I even judged that casting, I was like, whoa, Robert Pattinson, that's interesting. And then I went to go do my research on what Robert Pattinson has done since Twilight. And I was like, oh my gosh, The Rover, Good Time, Water for Elephants, The King, Devil All the Time. Like, dude, Robert Pattinson, and I'm not afraid to bring up this comparison. I think Robert Pattinson, I mean, if we look at their careers, Robert Pattinson right now is having a similar career to Leonardo DiCaprio. Think about it.
Oof.
Look,
baby. We'll talk about Leonardo.
Look, let me explain. Leo's the GOAT. Like Leo is a GOAT. We all can agree on that. But similar to Leo or similar to Robert Pattinson, both of them started off as like that, you know, teen lover boy. Leo with Titanic, Romeo and Juliet, Robert with Twilight, and people kind of just put them in that little box of being, you know, the teenage girl lover boy. Everyone put them in the box, and then after that, they had those breakout performances where it's like, oh my god, these dudes have so much range. They are incredible actors. They are so much more than those teen lover boys. And now Robert Pattinson has been doing that for years, but now with the Batman franchise, he's back in like mainstream Hollywood on one of the biggest stages out there with the Batman. Anyways, back to the list. Coming in at number 3 of my top 5 films for 2022, we have Top Gun Maverick, one of the most successful films of the year, took the world by storm. Going into this year, I mean, this is a movie that really just blew away all of our expectations.
I want to manage expectations.
Top Gun Maverick is far superior than the original Top Gun. It just provided one of the best movie experiences, like in theaters, man. Like get sitting in an IMAX theater and hearing like the actual jets. One of the things I appreciate most about this movie is that everything was practical, man. And hearing like how all the actors trained for months in order to learn how to fly the planes. And then they had to direct themselves while flying the planes and shooting this movie. It provided such a unique experience.
Matt, they all flew planes. Every single one of them. I thought it was just Tom Cruise.
It was every single one of them. Every single one of them.
What?
Yeah. Dude, Tom Cruise trained them. He trained the whole cast for months.
Bro, I'm Googling that.
It's a fact. Look it up.
I saw that somewhere too. I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and the behind the scenes, it's crazy, man. Like so much work was put into this movie in order to really bring that authentic fighter pilot experience to life, and they did it so perfectly. It was so good. You know, during the final third act where they're finally going on the mission and, you know, shit's actually getting real. It was crazy, dude. I was on the edge of my seat. I had so much anxiety within me. I was like, dude, Maverick, don't die. Such a fantastic cast. Love Top Gun Maverick. One of the best movies of the year, easily. Now coming in at number 2, I have The Fabelmans, directed by Steven Spielberg. For those of you who don't know, this is pretty much a movie directed by Steven Spielberg about his life. This is like a semi-autobiography, and it's truly a love letter to cinema by the greatest director of all time. In my opinion, Steven Spielberg is the GOAT. He's the greatest director of all time. And this is like, this really felt like such a personal movie for him. And it's essentially about a kid who grows up and he falls in love with directing and making movies. And as he's growing up and you know, falling in love with this art, he's also struggling with, you know, his parents getting divorced and his, you know, and the relationship of his parents kind of just falling apart and how that affects his family. Dude, Steven Spielberg films are just so magical. There's just something about them that's just so it's got like a little extra. It's got the sauce, bro.
Nah, that guy treats cameras like magic wands, bro.
I don't know. For me personally, this film was just super relatable in terms of like the main character and the journey he goes through. So I love The Fabelmans. But number one, like, I'm a stan of this movie. I cannot express how much I love this film. It is the best movie of 2022. Dude, Everything Everywhere All at Once deserves all the love and praise in the world. This is easily the best movie of the year. It's not up for debate. It's going to completely dominate at the Oscars, hopefully. And I will stand this movie till the end of time. It's one of my favorite movies ever, not just of the year. It's one of my favorite movies ever. I went into this film with zero expectations. I watched it with my boy, Tropical Joe. And we went to just randomly watch this movie because the Rotten Tomatoes scores were the film had like on 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Wow, that's really good.
And we were like, "Yo, what is this movie?" And we heard like a little bit of buzz on social media about it. And then we went to go watch the movie and see what all the hype is about. And oh my gosh, this movie again emotionally destroyed me. I was sobbing. I was laughing. It makes you feel everything, everywhere, all at once. Like, the title is ironic, but it's true. Like, this film just balances every emotion we could possibly feel to such a perfect degree. The performances are fantastic, from Michelle Yeoh to Stephanie. Forgive me if I pronounce her last name wrong. Stephanie Su and Ki Hui Kwan, who just made his return to acting with this film.
Another great underdog story.
Jamie Lee Curtis is in this movie as well. She's fantastic. This movie is something special. You know, once it came out and I watched it, I texted a friend of mine and she was telling me that this film was made on a $25 million budget, and they shot it in like a month at like an abandoned Countrywide Home Loans like office center. And only 7 people worked on the VFX. And this movie, man, is just something special. It takes a grand concept like the multiverse, which is like this grand, crazy concept. But at its core, it's such an intimate, small story about a mom and her relationship with her daughter, a mom and her relationship with her husband, a mom and her relationship with her dad. And I think that those types of movies make for the best. They're just the best movies in my opinion.
I definitely think that it was the superior multiverse film for sure. Way better than Doctor Strange. Way better.
What's crazy is that Multiverse of Madness got delayed. But if Multiverse of Madness didn't get delayed, it would have come out the same week as Everything Everywhere All at Once. And they were so confident in this movie that they were ready for this to go up against Multiverse of Madness. And honestly, that would have been embarrassing for Multiverse of Madness, because this film it's more like it has more madness than Multiverse of Madness.
It does, man. And I'll tell you what, I'm kind of happy it didn't release at the same time, because it wouldn't be getting the attention it would have gotten. It was kind of like that. Everyone kind of went in there. I know a majority of the people that saw it went in there because they were so excited for Multiverse of Madness that they just wanted to watch another multiverse film to get them hyped for Doctor Strange. And man, this movie just freaking said, hold my purse, hold my phone, hold my shoes. Just took over the whole damn thing, man. It was really entertaining. I can't lie.
Even though this is my top 5 for 2022 so far, this list could definitely change. Again, I'm watching Avatar on Tuesday of next week. We got to talk about one of the biggest movies of the year, Avatar: The Way of Water.
Yeah.
So as of right now, some people had the opportunity to watch Avatar: The Way of Water. They already had the premiere in London, and some early reviews have hit the web. And with this being it's the sequel to the biggest movie of all time. The first Avatar literally made $2.9 billion. It's like this.
I really don't understand how it made that much money, though. I mean, it's a good movie, but $2.9 billion. I think it was mostly because like that 3D ticket sales. I think that's why it drove up so high and all the re-releases. But that it's still at number 1, and nobody even came close. Well, Endgame came close, but they made
Yeah, Endgame beat it, but then they re-released the movie. Yeah, Avatar has gotten re-released a couple of different times. Now Avatar is back with finally. It's been honestly, like when it came to this movie, I thought it was like a little, it was like a little too late. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
me too.
The first Avatar
No,
came out in
they went
2009.
through the same thing with the first one, man. They kept delaying the first movie because James Cameron kept wanting to change it up and he kept wanting to change the visuals and the effects wasn't right. And he just like, I think that's what kind of happened again second time around. And that's what took so long. But I agree with you. I felt like why? Like, you know what I mean? Like, is this Disney? Is this Disney making them do it because they bought it and like, hey, we want more movies. We'll make you a park. Get us some more movies. I didn't understand what was going on there. But
Well, they
when
filmed all of
the
the rest of them, right? Like they filmed all the other sequels, so now they
I
can
have no
just
clue. But
pop them out.
apparently that they're gonna drop them year after year after year. So it would make sense that he did it that way because he probably doesn't want it delayed anymore either.
Right.
Yeah,
But-
so as of right now, they already filmed Avatar 3 and they're a third of the way through on Avatar 4, which is crazy. And that's something we got to talk about, man, because I don't think a movie has ever had, I guess, the pressure and such a high level of expectation on its shoulders the way Avatar: The Way of Water has. You know, like what if this film, I don't think it will, but what if this film bombs at the box office? James Cameron said in an interview that this film needs to make $2 billion in order to break even. That is insane. That is an insane amount of pressure. Yeah, I'm super curious to see how this film performs at the box office. But from the people that got to watch it, let's talk about some of the early reactions. Here we have Josh Horowitz on Twitter says, James Cameron once again shows filmmakers how it's done. I've said it 1,000 times. Never doubt him. Avatar: The Way of Water is how you do epic, blockbustering, emotional, visceral, and as big as movies get. Ian Sandwell says, unsurprisingly, Avatar: The Way of Water is a visual masterpiece with rich use of 3D and breathtaking visuals. It does suffer from a thin story and too many characters to juggle, yet James Cameron pulls it together for an extraordinary final act full of emotion and thrilling action. Guillermo del Toro says, a staggering achievement. Avatar: The Way of Water is chock full of majestic visuals and emotions at an epic scale. A master at the peak of his powers.
All the boys love it.
So it seems like everyone that has gotten the chance to watch this movie are completely blown away by it. And honestly, with a lot of the reactions I've seen online, like they're all praising the visuals. And like from the first trailer, we knew this movie was going to be a visual masterpiece. We all knew it was going to be a visual spectacle. But I guess some people have said that this film doubles down on its story, and it's a much more, it's a much better story than the first one, and it's more emotional. And that's what intrigues me more than, you know, people saying like, oh, the movie looks great. Because again, the movie can look amazing, but like, how's the story? You know what I'm saying? Like the story make you feel, do you get more invested in the characters? You know, if we look back to the first Avatar movie, sure, the technology was breathtaking, but you know, it's hard. It's kind of like hard to remember like what happened in the movie. What are some of the characters' names? You know, it's not like the story. The first Avatar isn't remembered for its breathtaking story. It's remembered for its breathtaking visuals. So like, how's the story of this movie? And it seems like a lot of people that have gotten the chance to watch the movie, sure, they're praising the visuals, but they've also been praising the story as well. How do you guys feel about Avatar: The Way of Water?
I'm excited. I actually just watched the first one, I believe, for the re-release when it re-released in theaters. So I hadn't seen the first Avatar ever.
Wow.
So I just watched it for the first time, which I was preparing. I was like, yo, if I'm going to watch this one for the first time, it has to be on the big screen. So I went and watched it for the re-release. I got to actually see it in theaters, which was fantastic on the big screen in 3D. I loved it. I thought it was amazing. And I never got the hype. I'd always crap on it because I was a Marvel fan. Endgame's better. But dude, I watched Avatar and my mouth quickly got shut because I was like, wow, I really loved it. And I thought the story was great. So going into The Way of Water, I am so hyped. I can't tell you how excited I am because not only does the visual effects look just incredible, but just hearing those early reactions and what everybody's saying about the story, that intrigues me. Like you said, Matt, that intrigues me 10 times more than the visuals. And the visuals are already there to help aid that. So like, I'm so hyped. So hyped.
I mean, there's the guy put so many years into these sequels, guys. I mean, if this guy misses somehow by some miracle, he misses on this movie, then everyone on Earth deserves $2 billion because it's really impossible. It's like it's really hard for this guy to miss right now because even his worst version of this movie is still going to be unbelievable to us.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing we should all never do is doubt James Cameron.
Yeah,
specifically with the Avatar franchise. You know, he started developing the script for the first movie in 1994, and then he couldn't make it until technology advanced to the point where he was able to bring it to life, which is why it came out in 2009. And now all of these years he's been developing Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5, and now they're finally coming to life. So for someone like James Cameron, who's one of the greatest filmmakers of all time, to dedicate 30 years of his life to this franchise, that is something that's so inspiring, so honorable and respectable. And I know a lot of people have like controversial opinions on James Cameron because he can say some crazy things in interviews. But, you know, despite whatever he says about like Marvel movies and stuff like that, the man is a legend. And I think we all, I'm super excited to go watch Avatar: The Way of Water just because of like the amount of dedication he's put into this story, this franchise. And for anyone to dedicate 30 years of their life to something, we all got to show up and see what they've been cooking.
I'm going to see the movie just to look at that water. The water looks better than water in real life. I want to drink the water that's in that movie.
Now moving on to the next topic, it's time to talk about Marvel, baby. It's time to talk about Marvel. Let's review Marvel Phase 4. So Marvel recently concluded Phase 4 with Black Panther: Wakanda Forever and with the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. So now that Marvel Phase 4 has completely come to an end, let's talk about it. Let's talk about the pros, the cons, and let's give our thoughts on what have been some of our favorite projects in Marvel Phase 4. So when it comes to my top 5 Phase 4 projects, at number 5, I have WandaVision. Such a fun show that really, I think WandaVision was I think it's been the only project in Phase 4 that's really just truly embraced its genre. What I mean by that is that Phase 4 has been such a diverse era for Marvel in that every single one of their projects have been different. But, you know, a lot of people have talked about the Marvel formula and how each, you know, Marvel project they have the same MCU tone and it's like the Marvel formula, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
exactly.
What I appreciate about Phase 4, it's that it's been so diverse. You know, WandaVision was a mystery sitcom show. Then Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a political thriller. Loki was like a time heist kind of show. Hawkeye was a Christmas family show. What If was just like an anthology animated series.
There you go.
Like so many of Marvel's Phase 4 projects have been so different from one another. And that's what I think I love about Phase 4 the most, is that there's been such a diversity of tone, of genres. But at number 5, I have WandaVision. At number 4, I have Loki. At number 3, I have Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. At number 2, I have Shang-Chi. And at number 1, I have Spider-Man: No Way Home. To me, when it comes to the top 3 in Marvel Phase 4, like you got to have Wakanda Forever. You got to have Shang-Chi. You got to have No Way Home. Like those projects were so damn good. But what have been some of your guys' like favorite projects in Marvel Phase 4?
I love No Way Home, obviously, for sure. That was, you know, I'm the Spider-Man guy. I've been making Spider-Man stuff. I love Spider-Man. So seeing No Way Home was insane. Andrew Garfield's my favorite. Shout out Matt too, because I actually got to go see it at the Soups fan event, and seeing it in that environment was the best way to see it.
I can't imagine the energy in that place, guys. That was one of the coolest things. That was insane.
I can't even describe how awesome it was. Like, just to be in a group of some of the most passionate people that are just like us. It was a concert. There was screaming, there was popcorn being flown in the air. It was insane. And there's no better way to see that movie than at the Soups fan experience. Fun fact, I actually also designed the poster for that event.
Unbelievable.
Which was awesome.
I didn't even know that. I didn't even know you designed the logos, bro. Like, you're very talented. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I mean, I envy that, man. I can't imagine seeing that movie in that environment. Not even because it's just Soups and you, but just to be with people that are as excited for this movie as you are. And you don't have to feel like a complete dork because
Yeah.
you're so excited for it. Like, if anything, they're making you more excited for it after all those years of speculation. And are they going to be in it? Are they not? Why is this
Yeah.
guy so salty in the interviews? And why is Andrew talking like this? And what's going on? And where's Toby? That movie just, it means the world to me, man. I can go on about that movie forever. I freaking love it.
Yeah, me too. I think, like
Dude.
you said too, we fed off the energy of the other people. I'm not,
Yeah.
I'm very passionate, but I'm not as outspoken about that stuff as per se Matt would. Like, Matt is like super, but
Yes.
see, bro, when you're sitting next to the freaking Soups and he's screaming and I'm like, "Ah," and I get all pumped up too. Yeah, like we were
Freaking
all,
out, he's going
"Let's
crazy."
go." Like we
Yeah.
were all screaming. Like,
Bro,
I've
what
never
better way
screamed
to
like,
see it? There was no bigger mascot for that movie
Yep.
than Matt. So to see it with him was probably crazy.
yeah, it was
was
like you
awesome.
had to scream in order to, like, there was just no, like I couldn't talk. I literally walked out and I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was,
Bro,
it
probably
was
bigger than a
insane.
concert, man. Crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, no,
Crazy.
No Way Home for sure. I think, like Matt said, WandaVision was great. Loki, I really loved Loki. One of my top picks for sure. Shang-Chi stood out. I think, like Matt said, my favorite pros of Phase 4, which I'm not a fan of Phase 4, but the biggest pro I think it had was the diversity and trying new things. And maybe some of those things fell short, but it had the balls to try something new and to explore and build new worlds and expand on the MCU, because we're so used to these same characters and those solid characters like Captain America and Iron Man and those major characters, that now it was time to branch out and really start to build something that'll be sustainable for years to come. So that was definitely its biggest advantage, was the world building for sure.
Yeah. Dude, to go back to that No Way Home day, man, that was top 10 day of my life, easily, truly.
Yeah.
Sebby, I'm so happy we're there, bro. Like, dude, I remember when we got to the theater, like, dude, the line was wrapped around the building. People were camping out. People camped out. People flew in from literally around the world to come to this screening for No Way Home. And
Wow, bro. Insane.
dude, the energy was insane. During the scene with where Toby and Andrew came out, every single person in the theater was on their feet.
Yep.
Like, I've never seen anything like that. I've never experienced anything like that in my life. Of like, just like, because usually when you go to movies, everyone's like, shh, sit down. With this one, it was.
I don't think anybody came there to say shush. Nobody wanted.
Yeah,
there was no
no.
shush police there. The shush
Definitely
police
not.
were not allowed in there.
It was a collective. Yo, we're all standing up and we're all going crazy right now because it's actually happening. Greatest.
Yo,
It's the best theater experience ever. Truly, I've been
awesome.
I've been to Hall H, Comic-Con, I've been to D23, and when it comes to fans coming together to celebrate the movies that light us up, that we're so passionate about, that nothing has come close to the environment of those events, of those experiences.
Yeah.
And all I'm gonna say is just wait till Secret Wars. Just wait till Secret Wars. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Wait till Secret Wars.
That-
We got so
that
much.
movie-
Marvel Phase 5 and Marvel Phase 6 got so much coming. As DC continues to develop, it's going to be freaking awesome. I think 2023 has the potential to be one of the biggest years in cinematic history. There's so much coming next year. But again, going back to Marvel Phase 4, yeah, Sebby, I'm going to agree with you, man. Like, the world building of this phase was unlike all of the other three phases combined. Marvel experimented more in Phase 4 than all of the other phases combined. Like, every single project was so different, so separated, so disconnected. And in a way, I think that's a good thing. But in a way, I also think it's kind of a bad thing, because the reason that I say that is because I feel like Phase 4 has struggled with being very open-ended. Like, as of right now, there are so many open-ended stories. In Phase 4, you had Shang-Chi, where in the post-credit scene, it ended with like the rings, and there's something going on there with the 10 rings. Then Eternals ended with Cersei, Phastos, Kingo getting captured by Arishem, going that way, and then Harry Styles comes out of nowhere. Multiverse of Madness ended with Clea recruiting Doctor Strange. Thor: Love and Thunder ended with Hercules. Like, there's so many open-ended stories, and usually with the first three phases in Marvel, every single time we had a Marvel movie end, it just led it right into the next one. even
Yeah.
if it was a completely new character that came
Yep.
out of nowhere. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, where Sam finally becomes Captain America. It's sweet for me to watch something like that because Sam finally becomes Captain America. And you're going to tell me that we still haven't gotten a Captain America reference? We still haven't seen Captain America. Am I going to have to wait till 2024 in order to see Captain America in the MCU again? So, and that applies to everything else. You know, that applies to, when are we going to see Clea and Doctor Strange go on their adventure? Yeah, I think there's so many open storylines. And another thing I think I want to talk about is volume. I think there's just been so many projects, dude. I don't know about you guys. I'm a diehard Marvel fan. Listen, I'm a diehard Marvel fan. I love Marvel with every fiber of my being. But man, I think with the Marvel Disney Plus shows, it's like, dude, it feels like every other week there's like a Marvel project coming out, which like for some people that may be a great thing. But honestly, I'd be way more down for Marvel to just chill out, focus more on quality instead of trying to pump out a project every 2 to 4 weeks. And I'd rather wait, honestly. You know, instead of getting like 4 Disney Plus shows a year where they're like 6 episodes long and they feel very rushed, and it feels like they should have been turned into a movie instead. Instead of getting 4 Disney Plus shows like that, I'd rather Marvel do 2 special presentations, just like Werewolf by Night and the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special, and then we get 3 to 4 movies a year.
I was really, really, really let down by Phase 4 as a whole. And I feel like a lot of that has to do with studio pressure. Like Endgame, oh my God, it went nuts. We can't stop. We got to keep going. We got to keep making this. And I feel like what made Phase 3 so beautiful and so perfect and so amazing was the fact that Kevin Feige had time and had the assets and had the power and had the time to really plan things out. And you never felt like something was for no reason. Everything had a purpose, and even when it was its own separate thing, it still found a way to come back in. And it was just so beautifully written, the first 3 phases. And that's what made this big, massive wave of people. And I just feel like they kind of just rushed into it. Instead of Endgame happening and then Far From Home happening after, instead of that, just let's rush in, let's drop a whole bunch of Disney Plus shows and let's just freaking go for it. We'll figure it out. Let's just go, which I felt like is the way they went in. I felt like they should have given Kevin Feige some time. Like, do what you need to do. Figure out what we're doing from here. Because,
Gio, I know you're talking. I'm sorry to interrupt. We just got our first look at Joker 2. They just dropped this picture out of nowhere, and it's just literally Joaquin Phoenix or Arthur Fleck getting shaved. First look at Joker 2, live on the pod. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Joker Folia Doe with Joaquin Phoenix and Lady Gaga coming in 2024. What's up? Another DC banger incoming, and it's a musical. So excited for that. No, yeah, Gio, to kind of piggyback off of what you were saying, and honestly, I'm gonna play devil's advocate a little bit here and defend Marvel, because I also think with the introduction of Disney Plus, which is kind of outside of Marvel's hands, because when Disney announced that they were doing a streaming service, they kind of demanded that Marvel, Marvel's got to bring some content.
Of course.
So that definitely affected, I guess, the rest of the MCU, the plans that they had in store. And Disney Plus, I think, has been a massive learning experience for Marvel, and learning, I guess, how they're going to tell their stories on that platform. Like, I don't think moving forward, I don't really think we're going to get any more 6-episode Disney Plus shows, because I think Marvel has listened to the fans. They understand like the audience feedback, and they understand that, we don't want, if you're going to do these shows, either turn it into a movie, or give them more episodes and give them more budget in order to truly do these characters justice. Like, I was super happy to hear that they turned the Armor Wars series into a movie, because now that's going to have more budget. We all know it's going to be on a much bigger scale than it would be if it were a Disney Plus show. Now, granted, we're all super excited for Daredevil Born Again. And the most exciting thing about that is the fact that we're getting 18 episodes in season 1. Like, the fact that we're going to be watching a Daredevil show with Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio for like 4 months, that's going to be amazing. So yeah, I think the Disney Plus has been a massive learning experience for Marvel. So I'm cutting them some slack there. But now as we move in and transition to Phase 5, we're getting closer and closer to Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars. You know what I'm saying? So I think we're going to start to see things come together a lot more. We're going to see a lot more connections. We're going to see a lot more connectivity in a way that connectivity was missing from Phase 4.
Didn't they also report recently that Marvel is like listening to the fans? Or I saw something about they finally were like, oh, maybe we should put the brakes on just a little bit. I saw an article that they're thinking about, kind of taking it slower because of the reception that they've been receiving.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Sebby, what did you feel about Phase 4? All honestly, no filter here. Like, how did you feel about it?
I honestly, dude, there's a lot of movies or a couple that I didn't even go to see just because I wasn't even hyped. And I was that guy that would be there at the midnight showing. I'd be there to see it the first day, but like, dude, I had no hype for Eternals. I didn't end up seeing it, and I was like, oh, I'll get around to it. And a lot of these movies, some of the shows I never watched either. Never saw Falcon and Winter Soldier. And I just was kind of not really hyped because of the way it was being handled. And I don't know. I was like, I love No Way Home. And there were those bits and pieces that stood out. But honestly, just like you said, Gio, I was extremely disappointed. I was definitely let down. And I was kind of like,
but you know what's crazy, Sebby? I'm sorry to cut you off. They had something going with WandaVision. Yeah. Like everyone was kind of like, Marvel's done. I don't care what they drop after Endgame and Far From Home. They were like, all right, it's done. But then when they came out with WandaVision, it was like, oh shit, something's gonna happen. Because they were teasing connecting the X-Men. They brought in Quicksilver. And it was like, oh shit, Evan Peters is coming in. And then it turned out to just be a dip joke, I think, at the end of the day. But they were teasing shit. And then Loki came out, and guys, Loki was amazing, guys. I love Loki. Yeah. It was phenomenal. It's not talked about enough. It was really, really good. There was probably one episode in that whole series that was mid to me, but everything else, guys, me and my wife, guys, my daughter, she was 2 years old at the time. She couldn't wait for the next episode. She said, Dad, is Loki out yet? Because Loki was good, guys. Yeah. It built hype. It was going somewhere. It had an ending. It was like, wow, I can't wait. I didn't know they had stuff left in the tank. And those two series just kind of nothing happened. Like, where's White Vision? Like, what happened? Like, where's the Big Bang? What affected the multiverse? They never really answered that question. What made the multiverse break? That was what the Loki was leading up to. A lot of unanswered questions and things that they were setting up that we thought we were going to get answers to in No Way Home and Doctor Strange that we never did. So I kind of just felt like if they just pumped the brakes on Phase 4, it could have been a spectacle. But the good thing is that they know that. They're feeling that. They hear that. And they thought that they were doing the right thing, rushing more stuff out for the fans. I think they're heading in the better direction now. They're going to take more time. They're listening to the fans. I mean, Deadpool 3, that's going to be unfreaking believable. Yeah. And I think it's going to help tie some more shit together. Just sorry to cut you off.
Like Matt said too, like there's a lot, like you both mentioned, there's a lot of plot holes and a lot of unanswered questions that it just isn't like the old days where it just all connected.
Like, you never felt the plot hole in the first. You didn't feel that.
Whether or not you liked Phase 4 or hated it, I think again, we all want to see these projects be the best they could possibly be. So if we have to wait an extra year or two in order to get Secret Wars, but for it to be the best movie that Marvel's ever made, we're all down for that. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah. Even with like visuals and the VFX. Way that they talked about the way they rushed the artists and stuff, like as someone who loves film and just is a sucker for good quality, like I would love to see them improve the effects. And No Way Home had its era of getting its crap for the VFX. And I was one of those people that was like, dude, like, why does a movie from 2014 and 2007 have better effects than a movie in 2021? But like, though it was rushed out, it was just the quality needs to be improved. Like we all said, like if they just really take the time to focus on that and then focus on the story and connecting these things better, I feel like it's going to regain that magic touch that it once had.
100%.
And again, leading to the big events like Secret Wars and Kang Dynasty and those big ones that we're all looking forward to, it'll help build those up even better. And it'll make those payoffs 10 times more satisfying.
And that's another thing that excites me about Marvel's future is that, you know, because Phase 4 has been so controversial, now moving forward, Marvel kind of has a bit of a chip on their shoulder on like, all right, how are they gonna bring this all together? Mm-hmm. How is this all gonna lead up? How is this all gonna, you know, connect, intertwine? how are they gonna really execute their next Infinity War and Endgame, which is Kang Dynasty and Secret Wars? Is it going to be better than the original Infinity Saga? We don't really know until it's all over, until it's all said and done. But yeah, I'm excited for what Marvel has to come. I don't think we should doubt Kevin Feige. Again, Phase 4 hasn't been perfect, but I certainly appreciate how experimental Marvel has been with this phase. And now that Phase 4 has ended, I think they should, sit back, look at what worked, look at what didn't work, and move forward and kind of bring that along with Phase 5 and Phase 6. And I think Marvel is going to do that. I think they are going to take, some of the learning lessons that Phase 4 provided to them and improve, I guess, their future and their path moving forward. But now moving on to the final main topic. We talked about Marvel. Now it's time to talk about the other hand, which is DC. Let's talk about DC's year. How DC's year, this year they came out with Peacemaker. They came out with the Batman, DC's League of Super Pets, and Black Adam. Honestly, I think DC had a damn good year for content. Peacemaker is one of the best superhero shows of the year. Like one of the best superhero shows of the year. And that was a series that we all kind of doubted, like Peacemaker getting his own series starring John Cena. Like how can that, no, everyone doubted, like, was anyone really excited for the Peacemaker show? No. But then when it came out and James Gunn, I actually got the chance to interview James Gunn for Peacemaker. And he, in the interview, he was like, this might be my favorite thing I've ever done. And I love the Guardians movies. And when James Gunn said that, I was like, whoa. And then we got Peacemaker and it was freaking amazing. One of the best superhero shows of the year. To me, it easily blows out anything Marvel has done on Disney Plus.
And it's crazy because you had no faith in the show. Now you got his helmet and his figurine in the back.
Exactly. Look at that. Never in a million years would I think I would have Peacemaker memorabilia in my setup.
Now you got it.
So yeah, Peacemaker was fantastic. The Batman is, to a lot of people, the best, like without question, the best superhero movie of the year. The Batman era on social media was just, everyone loved this movie. It reached the hype for a lot of people. Then after that, with DC's League of Super Pets, that was fantastic. That was besides so in terms of my super Marvel and DC superhero ranking, I have the Batman, Wakanda Forever, and then League of Super Pets right there. Like that was a film. That was a film that brought to life the magic of the DC universe, man. Like it was so magical. It was very lighthearted. It brought to life an established Justice League. And man, it just got me excited because like I want to see this in live action. But DC's League of Super Pets was fantastic. It had a lot of heart. It was so funny.
The Rock, Kevin Hart, come on, they're freaking hilarious. Yep. Everything they do is good.
I cried, dude. There was 2 to 3 times in this movie where I cried. Like I never thought Super Pets would make me cry.
Yeah, you told me that.
When I got home, I gave my dogs the biggest hug, dude. It gave me a deeper appreciation for dogs. And if you have dogs or pets, yeah, Super Pets will definitely make you love them a little bit more. So after Super Pets, we got Black Adam, which that's a very controversial film, but I think, Black Adam is exactly what it was marketed to be. Like, it was a huge spectacle. It felt like a WWE event turned into a movie with Black Adam and the JSA. And obviously we got Henry Cavill back as Superman. Now, whether or not he's going to come back for more, to be determined. But it was damn great to see Superman back on the big screen. You guys know I'm a sucker for Superman. So how do you guys feel about DC's 2023?
It was pretty good. I agree. I think Super Pets was surprisingly, I'm sure a lot of people didn't have that much hype for it or were like, this is pride. But I don't know. I watched it and I actually saw Matt's reactions and his early thoughts and views. And I was like, dang, this is making me excited. I went and watched it and I loved it. I thought it was great. The Batman, like we talked about, one of the best, like Gio said, right second under the Dark Knight. Amazing film, cinematography, visual, sound design was just A1 on point. And Black Adam was, it was decent, but I think like Matt said, it was everything it was marketed to be. So like, it kind of met the expectation. And the best part of the movie was the end credit with Superman because like we all got to see freaking Henry Cavill back. Like he said, we're hoping that that he actually does come back, just based off of those reports that came out a couple days ago, and everything with James Gunn taking over, and that, you know, the future is a little uncertain. We're all hoping that we get to see the man back in the suit. But that was definitely good. I think DC had a great year, and I'm hoping, as we're all hoping, that it's going to continue to get better, and they're going to continue to improve and start to actually connect and be up to par with Marvel one day.
Exactly. I mean, look, they got the characters to do it. They got James Gunn now. The other guy, I forgot his name. Peter, is it Peter Safran? Safran?
Yeah. Safran.
They got those two guys. They're obviously good teammates. I feel like they're gonna do what they got to do. But it's just a damn shame, man. Guys, I freaking love. I think Henry Cavill is Superman, guys, and I think Ben Affleck, guys, as Batman was the most beautiful comic matching looking Batman we've ever gotten, guys. It feels like right now we're never gonna get that Henry Cavill super movie that he deserves, because he deserves a good Superman movie, even if it doesn't connect to anything. Just give him his own good Superman movie. I feel like whether they reboot it or they don't, I trust in them. I think they're gonna go in the right direction. They blew us away with Peacemaker. They blew us away with the Suicide Squad. They have something in the works, and I trust them, whatever they want to do. But it just sucks because we're not going to get those two guys in a movie again.
Yeah, and looking back on DC's year, I think one of the best things that DC utilized this year was their ability to tell such diverse stories in a way that Marvel can't. What I mean by that is that DC can actually commit to the genres that they're trying to, I guess, move into with every single project in a way that Marvel can't. Because, like, I want to bring up an example, like Werewolf by Night, for example. That was a film that was going into like the horror camp genre, but at the same time, it also kind of had to tie back to that MCU formula. And I love Werewolf by Night, but that was a bit of my issue, that a lot of the projects in Phase 4, they've tried to be different, but they haven't fully committed to the genre that they're trying to dive into. Whereas with DC, Peacemaker fully commits to that super funny, you know, no filter, rated R, like action comedy. Super Pets is a kids animated movie. The Batman fully commits to that super dark toned genre. And then Black Adam is its own thing. So I think DC had a pretty damn good year in utilizing the best part of their universe, because they don't have a, you know, cohesive, interconnected universe. They can kind of do whatever they want. You know, we can get a Joker, and then we can get Shazam. Those are two different projects that are DC projects, but completely different genres that fully commit to the genres that they're trying to utilize.
Kind of like what they had with Marvel when X-Men was doing their thing with 20th Century Fox, but at the same time we had the MCU. We had two different things that wasn't connecting.
Yeah, and now as we move forward for the future of DC, I think, man, they're in great hands with James Gunn, Peter Safran. Again, what the DC universe has been missing is true leadership. The Snyderverse didn't fail because, you know, but the Snyderverse failed because of the mishandling and the management behind the studio. That's why the Snyderverse failed. You know what I'm saying? The Snyder Cut is amazing. I love that movie so much. I think it's one of the greatest superhero movies ever, even though it's 4 hours long. And that might be a controversial take, but I loved the Snyder Cut. So the Snyderverse didn't fail because of Zack Snyder and his vision. The Snyderverse failed because of a lack of management and studio interference. So now as we move forward, it feels like DC has learned from their mistakes. They've corrected it. They've dedicated an entire team of people mapping out the next 10 years for the interconnected universe. James Gunn, who's a seasoned veteran, not only as a businessman, but mainly as a filmmaker. And that's what gets me excited, is that James Gunn is a filmmaker and a fan. He knows how to he's brought to life some of the best comic book movies and shows ever. And now he's the one handling the main overall story. And he's connecting it to animated projects. He's connecting it to video games, to shows, and then to the movies as well. So I think James Gunn and Peter Safran are a great duo to lead DC. And 2023 is going to be a huge year for DC. They got Shazam! Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Blue Beetle, and then to round off the year, they have Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. So it's going to be curious to see what changes James Gunn and Peter Safran make in order to really begin their new era of DC. But I think DC now has the ingredients and they have the ingredients for success, and I'm excited about their future. I really, really am. now moving over, man, we've completed all of our 5 main topics. So now let's move over into some Sebby topics, man. Let's talk about Sebby, bro. Sebby, what's up, bro? So talk to the viewers and the audience. Like, what do you do? What is your area of expertise? And I guess, what are some things you want to share with people trying to, I guess, explore their creativity, whether you're an artist trying to get into music, trying to get into graphic design, into photography, into cosplaying. You are, so creative and so talented at so many different things. So, bro, I'm just asking you to talk about yourself.
All right. Well, I don't know. I try everything, and I think it's so important for people to explore everything, because if you don't try everything, then you're not going to find out what you like. And I just so happen to like a lot of different things, but I've always been creatively like inclined, and I've always just loved anything creative and artistic. And so I fall under that category of art and creative stuff. So anything that is under that, like photography and music, graphic design, artwork, that's all my jam. I love it all. So I do graphic design. I've done posters for Matt. I did the posters for the 2 Soups fan events, as they talked about earlier as well. I did do the logo and the intro for this podcast right here, which is awesome. So I've been able to do a bunch of stuff like that. I do merch designs, logos again. And then I make, I used to do costumes on YouTube, and I would do Spider-Man stuff and
You got a cameraman there or something? Panning
yeah, I know, it's all
whatever you
moving all
did?
crazy.
It was gorgeous.
But yeah, no, I did, I'd make Spider-Man masks and stuff that for the replica suits and show them off, and that was fun. It was creative. Allowed me to express myself creatively. And now just recently I got into music. I just dropped my first single, Feelings, on the 25th of November. So if you guys want to go check it out, Feelings is available for streaming now. And I've loved music since I was a kid. So finally getting into explore that area is just a dream come true. And so just trying everything is what I love to do. And I don't know. Anything artistic is just so fun for me. It sets my soul on fire. And
I just wanted to ask him, number one, what do I got to do to get a Spider-Man mask? I'm willing to do anything. I'm willing to sell anything. Number 2 is, do you have any advice for people that are like you? Because I think now more than ever, there's a lot of graphic designers. There's a lot of people that want to get into the space that you're doing so well in. You're doing photography. You're doing hundreds of things right now. And it seems like God is just leading you and blessing you, and everything's working out for you. So do you have any advice for people that are trying to get into that space, into that field, and what they could do to kind of get themselves more out there? And
like I said at the beginning, I think trying everything is important, and exploring what you like and what you enjoy. I didn't even talk about photography. I totally forgot. Photography is huge. I love doing photos, and I actually just got back from Miami yesterday. I got flown out there for a gig shooting the Ja Rule and Ashanti concert at the Hard Rock casino, and that was awesome, and it was dope. I was the main photographer.
Wow.
A couple of days before, I shot for Lil Wayne, Kid Ink, and Jacquees, and that was awesome as well. I got to meet everybody, take pictures, and Kid Ink posted my photo. Like, it was awesome. Like, I've been definitely blessed with a lot of opportunities, and I started photography back in 2021, so it hasn't even been that long, and I've made really big strides in that area. And I think the way I've gotten there is just being relentless in that pursuit of not giving up and trying to improve as much as I can, and taking advice from whoever I can, and trying to learn as much as possible, not being afraid of failure, not being afraid of judgment from other people. I think that's important, and just exploring. And I think there's so much power in being able to just explore what you're good at and try and nail down certain things, because I know maybe I'm not the best at this area, but that's going to be the area that I'm going to work harder in and try and do better in, so that I can get better at that. And so, yeah, my biggest piece of advice to the people that are trying to do that is to try and experiment, try and do more, and be relentless in your pursuit of those things. Don't give up. And, oftentimes we see everybody else doing what they're doing. And we see this photographer and this artist and this creator and this thing. And, you know, it might be discouraging to us because we're like, dang, like I want to do that too. And I'm not that good. I'm not as good as them. But one of the best quotes I've ever heard, comparison is the thief of joy. Cannot compare yourself to other people. Everybody's on a different path. Everybody's on a different journey. And you got to be okay with that. And like Gio said, God's got a plan for all of us.
Amen,
he
brother.
has us in a certain spot for a reason, and our time to shine will come. We just got to trust in him and understand that everybody's
Amen.
time will come, and we just got to work hard to get to that point. So that's my take on it.
No, for sure, man. That's such a beautiful thing. I think when it comes to life, like it's always important to be a student and to remain a student, no matter where you go, no matter how much success you reach, because every single human being that's around us has something that we can learn from them, you know. And if we're constantly in the mindset of like learning and being open to criticism and how we can be better, then we will get better. But you know, if we're like stubborn and stuck in our ways and think we're the best and there's no room for improvement, then it's a disservice to who you can be and what and reaching that potential of like just maximizing the potential of you. So
Yeah.
how did you discover all of these passions, man? Like obviously, like you're into photography, you're into artwork, cosplays. If you're you know, a young person that doesn't know, how do you know? How do you find out? How do you get that answer?
That's the question. And I mean, so many people ask me this, and I always have the college conversation because it's kind of along that line of like, you know, oh, should I go to college? Should I not? And I'm always like, you should never go to college unless you're 1,000% sure on what you're doing. And if that degree is going to get you to that point, if you're like, dude, I want to be a doctor, I want to save lives, go for it. But if you're a creative and you have this fire in you that you don't necessarily, I'm like, dude, find what sets your soul on fire. And a lot of people, I was so lucky to have that fire in me at such a young age. Matt too, like we grew up with these passions and this fire inside of us. So it kind of led itself into it. Like I've been drawing since I could hold a pencil. I was so uneasy at the table and I was such a rowdy kid that my mom and dad they had to get me crayons and paper to draw on. And that was the only time when I would ever be quiet and be like at ease. It was like a therapy to me to just sit down and just draw. My dad would show me how to draw Spider-Man and he'd do the eyes and all that. And so like stuff like that, I discovered it at a young age. And I would like to give a huge shout out to Justin Bieber because that's my boy. But I grew up listening to Justin Bieber, and seeing him on YouTube and seeing what he was doing it was unlike anything I'd ever seen. And it inspired me to want to do that. I saw JB in 2010. I was like, dude, I want to be an entertainer. I want to make music one day. I want to do this, this, and this. And since then, it's never changed and it's always been the same. So my advice to people that ask me about that is like, again, try everything. But when you try everything, you got to look for that one thing that it just sets a passion inside of you, and it just sets your soul on fire, because you're going to know. And I tell everybody, you're going to know, when you know, like Matt knows, Gio knows, like, and the cool thing is too, even when you know, you're still figuring it out. Not everybody has everything figured it out. Like I'm still learning. I know exactly what I want to do and I know those things, but I evolve, I grow as a person. So does Matt. Like Matt started out as the superhero guy. Now he's expanding into all pop culture, all entertainment. Like
yes, sir.
We're continuing to grow. We're continuing to evolve. And that's the best part of it, is that we're never going to be stuck in the same thing. So we have this idea of what passion we want to do and what we want to pursue, but it's going to evolve, it's going to grow, and we're going to get better at it. And that's the best part. So my biggest piece of advice there is to just find that one thing that sets your soul on fire. And the only way you can do so is by experimenting and trying and failing and seeing what you like. And when you do find it, you'll be like, dang, this is it. Like when I make a poster for the Spider-Man and Doctor Strange event, I'm like, dude, that's badass. Like, hell yeah, I love it. Or I take a dope photo and, the artist posts it on their Instagram and I'm like, that's sick. Like those things, they fulfill me and make me happy. And so find
for
that
sure,
one.
man.
you know?
For sure. And I think a lot of people's problems is they have passions and they don't even know it. They have
Right.
things that they do and they don't even realize that it can be valuable or talent to some people. And I'm the prime example of that. Guys, never in a million years did I think I would be here talking to you guys on a podcast. Never, never, ever. Never did I think I'd be editing as a job. It's just something I did. I used to make stupid videos. I'm still making stupid videos. I make videos of me in a hot tub eating snacks whenever I feel like it. I do things that I wanted to do and I found funny, and that I always just chased the dream that I was going to be this kind of YouTube guy, and it never ever happened. But along that way, I learned these things how to do. And it was like during the pandemic, it was such a bad time for everyone. But at the same time, it was also a blessing for me because it gave me so much time inside to find out who I am and what I do and what I want to do. And I reached out to God. I said, God, all I know how to do is use this computer. That's all I know how to do is make music and make videos, and this is it. And if there's a way I can do this to provide for my family and help my family and feed my kids, then I'll do it. Just show me. And then out of nowhere, a week later, I was making a stupid video and my mom said, why don't you find a way to do that to make money? I said, no one's going to want me to edit their videos. Everybody can edit a video. Why would I need to edit videos? So I literally Googled how to make money editing videos. I went on Upwork. I made a submission to one job. I took my last $14. I made a website with all my videos on it and just like a fake demo reel. I took people's clips and said, and just like edited together. I like made this thing up. The first job I got was a job I had for a year and a half, and it paid me a lot of money. And I couldn't believe it. I was literally doing Uber to make $300 a month to just pay my car payment. So that's just why I said all that, was just to say you don't even know sometimes. And how to do that is, number one, reach out to God or reach out to family and people, and keep yourself surrounded by people that motivate you and point those things out that you don't even know you have. Because sometimes you just need that confidence boost and that push to do something that you think is stupid. Sometimes you need that.
It's going back to that idea of being fearless, because a lot of people have this thing of like, they don't want to be judged, or they're scared. And I think you can't be, if you want to live the life you want to live and accomplish those dreams. Like you said, Gio, like I see so many people that are so talented at, art or this or that. And I'm like, dude, you could totally have a career in this. Why are you, and they're working jobs that they don't like, and they're living a life that they're not very happy with. And I'm like, dude, you have a talent that is in need right now. People need that, like video editing, stuff like I do video editing jobs as well, because I'm also an editor. So I do all that. And it's like, dude, like it's just, there's so many talents and things you can captivate on any talent you have. I believe truly, like you can turn any talent you have into a job. And it's just, I see so many people that are too scared to do that, too scared to make that leap, too scared to try it out. The people that want to be YouTubers, that want to be like me and Matt, they're too scared to hop in front of the camera because they're scared of what people are going to think. But you can't be, bro. Like, huge shout out to Matt, because I remember when he first started, like he was like, hey guys, welcome to like he was shy, and he would always tell me, Sebby, I envy your on-camera presence, but dude, look at him now. We're both like he got there and he built it, but he wasn't afraid to get in front of the camera, and he wasn't afraid to try it and get into it. Me too. Like you just got to do it, and you got to.
He just got more comfortable. If anything, it wasn't more of like a personality creation. It was just him getting more comfortable. Like he didn't become an influencer. He just became himself in front of the camera. We watched the guy grow up, and that's just taking that leap of faith, trusting in God, trusting in the Lord, and just listening to people. Stop making it like I can't be that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm not that good. Just put it out there. You don't know. Just try it. Just do it.
And the reason people don't take action is because they get paralyzed by fear. And it's because, like, at our core, man, like we all want to feel accepted. We don't want to feel rejected, and we're afraid that if we like show our true selves and we like, take risks and we fail, that we're going to be rejected by other people. But the truth is that we're going to be rejected regardless, no matter what you do in your life. You're going to be rejected if you take a leap of faith on chasing your crazy dreams, and you're going to be rejected and judged if you stay in the same place and never do anything with your life. You're going to be judged regardless no matter what you do with your life. And once you accept that you're going to be judged, then, you know, it doesn't really matter. You can just move forward because, you know, it's going to happen regardless. But, you know, at the end of the day, one thing that scares me a lot more than being judged by people is something that I heard from this Marine, where he's just an absolute beast. His name is David Goggins. And he said it on the Joe Rogan podcast. He said, the thing that scares me the most is when I die and I go up and finally meet God, what if he shows me the life that I should have lived but didn't? And that stuck with me, man. And that truly, like, that scares me. That's something that has stuck with me ever since. And it's something that I keep in the back of my head every single day. And to a certain degree, it's something that we all gotta, you know, remember, because, you know, one of my favorite movies of last year was Tick, Tick, Boom. And the entire premise of that film is that we got a time clock ticking and we don't know when it's gonna ring. We don't know when it's gonna end. So we gotta spend our time chasing the things that make us happy, that like fill us up, man. Because when we're happy with ourselves, then we can be better, I guess, better vessels for serving other people around us. And another thing too is that if you're scared of people rejecting you for being vulnerable and taking risks to chase your dreams that are out of this world, if people reject you, then guess what? Those people were never meant to be in your life in the first place.
100%.
When you're in the pursuit of something crazy, you're going to meet people that are just as crazy as you, if not crazier.
Yep.
And I think that's very important because, man, like, if you look at the statistics, like, it's crazy that we're here on this podcast right now in this very second. Like, it's crazy. Like, I'm just
can't even believe I'm here.
I'm a crazy kid from Miami. Gio, where are you from?
Everywhere. I'm Gypsy Romanian. We did a lot of traveling, but I was born and raised in New York. I can't believe I'm here either, bro. I put cologne on. You guys can't even smell me, but I put cologne on. I'm so excited for this. You know what I mean? So God's got a plan for everyone. And I couldn't agree anymore.
Yeah. So, man, if you're listening, if you're tuning in, I'm fired up right now. Like, I'm not even listening. I'm like just here with you guys, but I'm fired up. I'm like ready to go run a mile or something. Yeah. So, Sebby, thank you so much for joining us, man. It was a pleasure to have you on the pod once again. And yeah, man, go check out Sebby's new song. Sebby, what's it called? Where can people check out your new song?
It's called Feelings, and it's out everywhere. Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you listen to music, it's out. Go check it out. I worked really hard on it. Again, because I'm well-rounded in the art, I made the cover art for it. I did the branding. I wrote the song. Everything I did. So it's been really cool to take all the different art aspects and throw it all into one and work on a project that means a lot to me. And I can't wait to make more and do more. So.
And also, what he's not telling you guys is that for every listener that listens to the song, he'll make you a custom Spider-Man mask and send it directly to your door for free.
There you go.
Whoa. Get ready, bro. Get ready.
Oh, man.
That's
We're already at what, 20,000 masks then? Sheesh. I don't know.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me on. Thank you, Matt.
All right, guys. So now we are moving into our next segment of this show, which is going to be the fan question segment. And again, I asked you guys to submit some questions for me to answer, and I'm going to answer them right now. But right before we do that, I also want to mention, guys, I can't believe I didn't mention this at the beginning of the podcast, but we're going to be dropping these episodes every Saturday morning. As a kid, I grew up watching cartoons on Saturday morning, so I kind of want to replicate that now with this podcast and give you guys something to enjoy on your weekends. So we're going to be dropping the podcast episodes every Saturday morning. Let's say a movie comes out on a certain opening weekend. I'm probably going to watch it on Thursday. Gio and I will film the episode on Friday, and then we'll drop this episode on Saturday morning. Prepare for so much content, man. I'm super excited for the future of this show. And again, for all of the topics that we discussed today, we talked about top 5 favorite movies of the year. We talked about Avatar early reviews and the stakes that film has behind it. We talked about Marvel Phase 4. We reviewed Marvel Phase 4, and then we also reviewed DC's 2023. So for all of these topics, I want to hear your input. Drop it down below in the comment sections of the content all over social media. We have a Twitter, we have an Instagram, we have a TikTok, and then we also have 2 separate YouTube channels dedicated to literally all of the content behind the Let's Go show. So engage with the content on social media. We want to hear your thoughts. Even though it's just us having a conversation, I want this to be the entire community conversing about the things that we're talking about.
For sure. Everybody's a part of the conversation here. And I really think it's important. You guys should all leave comments and find a way to reach out to this guy, because we got some fan questions here, Matt, I believe that you want to read off right now and you want to answer. So if you guys want to be a part of this in the next episode and you guys want to like have Matt answer whatever you guys want to say, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, comments, send the guy a fax, do what you got to do, get it to his inbox. So we got DJ Coulter here, but he wants to know, what was your reaction to getting the invite to your first Marvel premiere?
So honestly, I have a crazy story about just me getting invited to my first Marvel premiere, which was the premiere for Black Widow, which this happened in 2021. But yeah, this was a crazy journey, because when at the beginning of 2020, I was still in high school. I was halfway through my senior year, and I remember at the end of 2019, I had made a poster of all of my goals for 2020. And at the top of that was, I want to get invited to the premiere for Black Widow. You know, for me, it would have just been such a fulfilling story moment in like the story of my life. And that's the journey we're all on, right? We're trying to make the best story, the best movie we can possibly make, in which we're all the main character. So
Hey.
I set out, boom, at the top of my thing, I was like, man, I think it would be such an awesome thing for being someone who grew up loving these characters, dressing up as them, playing with the action figures, to be able to attend a Marvel event like that would be such a full circle moment. So I set out at the top, again, I'm going to get invited to the premiere for Marvel's Black Widow. And then boom, the pandemic happened. The movie got delayed multiple times. And then when I made the poster and I wrote down my goal, which was I'm going to get invited to the premiere for Black Widow, I actually went out and I bought this tie. This was at the beginning of 2020. And I went out and I bought this tie, and I was like, dude, I'm going to wear this to the premiere. It's going to happen, like no doubt in my mind. And at that point in time, dude, I was just like some crazy high school kid, bro. Like I didn't have any connections at Marvel. I had anyone in Hollywood, dude. I was just like random kid making crazy videos on social media. And then, you know, as time went on, then I planned my move to LA in 2021, and I was moving to LA July 1st, 2021. And then out of nowhere, I got an invite from this company called Allied Global, where their job is to literally create opportunities for Latinos, which, you know, huge shout out to Allied. They've been, you know, a great partner to work with. And, you know, it's very hard for Latinos in Hollywood, and very rare do I go to events and see, you know, Latinos there. So for them to have reached out to me, it was such a blessing, man. And it was a dream come true. And even though I was moving to LA in July of 2021, I actually had to fly out earlier than that, because the Black Widow premiere was at the end of June. So yeah, I flew out to LA a bit early, and I got to pop out this tie from the box that I bought it from, you know, a year and a half prior. And
time to get preppy.
Boom, I went to the Black Widow premiere, and it was such a fulfilling moment, man. And for me, like when it came to an event like that, like it's about bigger than just me. You know what I'm saying? Like there's this quote by Maya Angelou where it says, "I come as one, but I stand as 10,000." And that's something that I feel, you know, I take you guys with me every single place I go. And even though it's just me there in person, I'm like taking you guys with me through the content, through the moment, and for all of the people that, you know, I grew up with that are watching me from back home in Miami, like for them to be able to see like, wow, like this kid came from my same high school. Like we had geometry together, and now he's doing this. Like it, you know, they could look at a situation like that and they could be envious, they could be jealous of it, or they could take inspiration from it. And for the people that do take inspiration from the journey, man, it's the most fulfilling thing for me to see, you know, people that say like, yo, like, you know, I saw you do this, and now I've done this, this, and this with my life. Like, to me, that's what it's all about. Because yeah, at the end of the day, like, you know, when it comes to personal success, like that's its own thing, but winning together, winning with a community of people, and all of us just going out there and turning our dreams into reality, that's the most fulfilling thing out there. So to me, like, that was just such a special event. It was such a special story moment in my life, and now we're in a pretty damn awesome place. So
Glory to God, man. You said, I am going to this premiere. It's going to happen. You didn't just say any premiere. You didn't leave it vague. You put a goal in your mind and you said, it's going to happen. You confessed it out loud, which is a big thing. And it happened. You bought a tie showing that I believe this is going to happen and I am going to be at this event. And bro, God had a plan for you and it worked out, man. And that's the main thing, is having that confidence and believing that whatever you speak, it could happen. The tongue is very powerful, bro. That's biblical.
And when it comes to life in general, man, like I feel like we gotta have that, Gio. We gotta have a balance of hard work and faith, because there are gonna be some things that happen in your life that you won't be able to explain. They're gonna be so, like, it's gonna be so out of this world, so crazy that you just can't explain it. Faith, you will be rewarded with good faith, and God will answer your prayers, and things that you won't ever be able to explain will happen in your life.
Amen.
And
that's
again,
fact.
as we go through life, we got to have a certain level of hard work and faith. It's a balance of both.
Moving on to the next question, Mrs. Janet XO, hugs and kisses. What has been the best/worst part of your career so far?
So first of all, shout out to Janet, my bestie. I met Janet at a premiere, at a Netflix premiere. So shout out to her for sending in the question. But what has been the best and worst part of my career? Honestly, guys, the best part of this job has been meeting people that share my same energy. And that's truly been the best part of my job. Like, dude, when you start making content on social media, you have literally no one watching you. Like, I remember when I first started creating content on YouTube, like I would get excited at getting like 10 views on a video. And I would run around my house telling my mom, like, Mom, my videos hit 10 views. As that community continued to grow into what it is today, like, it's awesome, man, because I'm not alone anymore. Granted, I would still be doing this if no one watched any of my content, because I love talking about this stuff. It truly lights me up. And if I had one viewer right now, I would still be doing it. If I had 0 viewers right now, I would still be doing it, because it just truly, like, it makes me so happy and fulfilled. But as time has gone on, the best part of my career is being able to share that same energy, that same love, that same passion with other people, being able to bring that together in person for in-person events. That's been the most fulfilling thing. You know, social media is one thing, and I love interacting with you guys on social media, but being able to bring that together in person at, you know, the Soups Fan Experience, that's something that is, you know, every single time those events come around, and we are planning more for 2023, it's the most fulfilling thing in the world, because it's like, it's all of us coming together in person. It's a whole different energy, man. So that has truly, being able to share the love and passion that I have for movies, TV, and pop culture with other people, that has been by far the best part of my career. And then I would say probably the worst part, I would say, you know, I kind of like wrote this down, because I really kind of just like looked within and like, what is the worst part of my job? And honestly, I think the worst part of my job is just like people trying to tear me down when they truly don't know me whatsoever. You know, when you hop on social media and you put yourself out there for the whole world to see, there's so many people that are just gonna be sitting back, waiting for you to fall, man, waiting for you to mess up, and then they're gonna take that little mess up and try to cancel you for it, or try to like literally just destroy you for it. And some people will take small things and take them completely out of context and run their own narratives. And some people will just put stuff out there that's just total lies and fabrication, and people use that against you. So, you know, it is what it is. It's a part of the territory. And once you accept that there's going to be people out there that just want to see you fall, they'll hate you for nothing, which means they'll hate you for anything. And the truth is that we're all human beings. There's always going to come points in our life where we make mistakes. But in social media, when you're a content creator, there is no room for mistakes, because, you know, it's funny because, dude, that was the other day I was taking out my dogs, Coda and Thor, and Thor was dropping, trigger warning, might be a little graphic for you guys. Thor was dropping the fattest log. He was just hunched over, dropping the fattest log. And I remember before Thor's log hit the ground, there was already flies on it midair, just like eating the poop. And there's people out there that are exactly like that. They're waiting for you to shit. They're waiting for you to mess up, so like that they can hop on and use it for and try to tear you down to build themselves up. But man, like there's truly no succeeding in this industry trying to tear other people down. That doesn't exist.
It's what you get in the space that you're in, bro. It is what it is. When you're in this space, this is the negative part of it. In a world we live in where you're rewarded for how good you can get at somebody and how many negative things you can say to someone. You're rewarded for that on platforms like Twitter and Instagram and all social media in general. You're rewarded for how bad you come at people and how good you can treat people, and everybody's so easily offended. And it's just the cancel culture world that we live in today, which I don't agree with at all. And I don't believe in cancel culture at all. I think it's not from God. And the thing is that people are so offended, and they want their in a world where everybody can have their opinion and have something to say, and if it can be seen on a global scale, the smallest thing that they could say can reach thousands of people. Everybody's going to be involved in that, and there's going to be chaos. It's going to happen whether you like it or not. It's going to happen, and that's just a part of the space you're in. And what happens to you after that is up to you. If you want to soak into that and buy by that and believe that that's happened and that it's done for you and it's over, that's on you. That's your belief, and that's what you want to do. But in general, man, I don't agree with that. I think it's bullshit. I think life is what you make it. I think everyone makes mistakes, man. And I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's cool at all.
Yeah.
The world that we live in today, where you can say or do anything and people can take it out of context and rock you about it. And they want answers right away, and they want replies, and they want you to notice them. And
it's like, man, if we put every single human being on this planet under a constant microscope, if we put them under a microscope and just look at them and wait for them to mess up, it's always going to happen. But again, I'm great. Look, I'm great. I'm grateful. I'm also grateful for it, right? Because like I truly believe that everything that happens in our life is happening for us, not to us. It's all for our benefit, no matter if it emotionally affects us negatively. It's a learning lesson. It's something that you as a content creator, if you don't have tough skin, you're not going to last long. So I appreciate it, and it's a part of the game. So it is what it is. But again, the people that will genuinely support you and understand you, and those are the people that are going to stick with you. And that's all that really matters. Again, I kind of alluded to it earlier in the podcast. As long as you're apologetically yourself, you're going to weed out people in your life, and you're going to attract the people that are meant to be in your life. And that's it, period, man. So now moving on to the next question. Gio, what's up? Talk to me.
You got Teddy_JPEG. What's the biggest tip for new people in this industry?
Honestly, the biggest tip I have for people getting into the social media world, Hollywood, whatever the case may be, the biggest tip that I have, man, is to tune out the noise, bro. Tune out the noise. Social media can be a very loud place, and it can become very toxic and very harmful for your mental health if you're just like on it all day, reading every single comment, DM, email, whatever the case may be. So honestly, my biggest piece of advice is to just tune out the noise. The world is always going to tell you who you are, what you are, but you aren't what the world says you are. You are who you choose to be. You are who you believe yourself to be. And that's all that really matters. So tune out the noise, stick to who you are, and that's it. Move forward and continue to focus on building yourself. And when it comes to building yourself, that should come with some form of service, whether it's, helping people in a certain area of your life, whatever the case may be. I think when it comes to all of our lives, we should always be doing things that help make the world a better place and help make the people around us better. So my biggest tip for new people in this industry is to just tune out the noise, man. Trust your gut. And if you can't trust your gut, find people around you that you trust, that you love, that love you. And listen to your team. The thing is that like we're all different, man. Like I have something different that I bring to the table than you, and same with you, Gio. You have something different that you bring to the table than me. So it's like we can talk about the same things, but like I'm gonna have a different opinion. I'm gonna say it with a different energy, with a different tone, and it's gonna hit differently. So like like, dude, I want everyone to, man, just make it with their passions, turn their passions into their lifestyle. And that's really all it is, bro. So my biggest tip for people in the industry, man, is to guys, stick to who you are, stay true to who you are, tune out the noise, screw everyone else. And again, keep doing you. That's the
Stay
biggest
consistent,
tip.
man. Focus on what matters. All right, moving on to the next one. We got Big Zane 69. What movie from any franchise hit you so hard that it kickstarted your love for media?
So the movie that kickstarted my love for everything from movies to TV to superheroes, it was Superman the movie. Fun fact, at the time of this recording, we're recording this on December 10th, 2022. At the time of this recording, today is actually the anniversary of this movie. This movie came out 44 years ago today.
Oh my God.
Literally, this is the movie that started everything for me, man. Like, I can't really express like how important it is to my life. I have, you can't really see it on camera, but I have a Christopher Reeve Superman figure over there. As a baby, I watched this movie with my grandparents, with my parents. Literally as a baby, before I could even talk, before I could even walk, I was watching this movie. I was humming to the Superman theme in the magical intro of this movie. Christopher Reeve just brought so much magic to this role, to this character. Seeing him play like a goofy, funny Clark Kent, and then seeing him transform into a super stoic and righteous Superman, it was the best thing ever. This movie just has so much magic to it. It's still one of my favorite superhero movies to this day. I think it stands the test of time, and the superhero industry wouldn't be what it is without this movie. So shout out to Richard Donner, who actually mentored Kevin Feige. So Marvel wouldn't be what it is if it weren't for this movie. Again, Richard Donner, who directed this movie, mentored Kevin Feige.
Unbelievable.
And Christopher Reeve is just an absolute legend, an absolute icon. And yeah, this was the film that really resonated with me. I think for me, I was born with a condition that less than 1% of people have. And growing up, I was always kind of like bullied for that. I was always ashamed of like being born the way I was being. I kind of had an animosity in a way towards God, like asking God, like, yo, why me? Why did you make me this way? Why couldn't I just be normal? And then that's why I connected with a character like Superman, who in his own way was afraid of the things that made him different. He was afraid of his powers and he was afraid of standing out. But when he embraced the things that made him different, that's when he became the greatest superhero in the history of the world, the hero amongst heroes. And that's why I love Superman so much. He's the most relatable superhero for me personally. And that first Superman movie changed everything. So shout out to Superman the movie, starring Christopher Reeve, directed by Richard Donner. That wraps up our fan questions segment, and that wraps up episode 1 of the Let's Go show. Thank you guys so much for engaging with this community, man. Like it truly means the world, and I'm super excited for the future of the show. I'm super excited to get on more guests and talk to them about their story, talk to them about how they can, serve you guys and I guess inform you guys on their areas of expertise on any industry. We have a ton of exciting guests to come on the podcast in the future. So I look forward to just cranking out more episodes of this show, man. I truly miss the podcast space. And we're going to be, again, producing this content on YouTube. We're going to be putting up the segments and the clips on a separate YouTube channel. And then we're going to be putting up clips of that on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all over the place. We are coming for all of it. The Let's Go show, our goal is to be the #1 podcast in film and entertainment. And above that, our goal is to just create an even bigger community to celebrate movies, TV, and everything going on in the world of pop culture. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know in the comment sections what you guys want us to talk about in the future. Any questions you guys have for us. We want to hear your takes. We want to engage with you guys and have that conversation. What are your top 5 movies of 2023? What's your take on Avatar: The Way of Water? Are you excited for the movie? If so, why? If you aren't excited for the movie, why not? What are your thoughts on Marvel Phase 4? What are your thoughts on DC's 2023? let us know, man. Let's have that greater
Got-
conversation.
Gotta get active in the comment section, guys. Let us know. Do you like me and my thick, bushy eyebrows? Should I be here? Who do you guys want on next? Do you guys like the format of this podcast? Tell us. We want to know. We want to make it better. We want to make it number one, and we can't do it unless you guys tell us what we need to do. You guys are watching it. Tell us what you like. Tell us what you didn't. We're coming back next week, coming back harder than ever. Let's go.
Let's go. Again, episodes drop every Saturday morning. Stay tuned. We love you guys. Welcome to the Let's Go Show. Let's go!